Welcome back to Red Raider Weekly. I'm your host, Robert Giovanetti. Earlier this week, before one of his team practices, we caught up with head baseball coach Dan Spencer. He's going to answer some pressing viewer questions. It's Ask the Coach right now. All right, Coach, this first one comes from Philip in Lubbock. He asked, what made you decide to go into coaching?
I thought I'd do it a summer or two and then see where it went, and got kind of attached to it and had a little, enjoyed the relationships with players and the camaraderie, and you lose some of that as a player when you're done playing. You lose that clubhouse effect, and coaching your own club again and doing that, you get it back. So I stayed with it, and it started to pay a little bit, and it paid enough to make a living, and then it worked out. So one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Scott in Irving asked, who are your coaching influences?
I do spend a lot of time reading the books about different coaches and different styles, and using things from different things and different people I've been around. I don't really think I have a model I've followed somebody to the T, but I think in coaching you're always we're all beggars and borrowers, and thieves. So we steal stuff that we think is good, and then at the end of the road when you're done coaching, then that was your style.
Jenny in Abilene asked, you're from Washington State. What are the major differences between there and West Texas?
Biggest difference is it rains about 300 days a year there, but it's a beautiful place. A lot of mountains, rivers, lakes, streams. That's the difference. And the climate's about the opposite of Lubbock. If you got 330 days of sun here, you got the opposite there. And I will say I like the climate in Lubbock, Texas, a lot more than the places in the Northwest that I've lived. So it's a lot more conducive to coaching baseball, and that sun out, it makes you feel good about yourself with the sun shining in the morning.
Greg in Houston wants to know, you won 2 College World Series on the staff at Oregon State. What's it going to take to get Texas Tech to win 1?
Well, good players, and that's not even primarily pitching. Frontline starters, a guy at the end to close. Those kind of pitch, that kind of pitching covers up a lot of holes you might have offensively, or maybe a spot or a half spot on defense. If you can play defense and you can get high-end arms, and kind of layer the classes, so you got freshmen, you got sophomores, you got juniors, then you can kind of be good enough years in a row to give yourself an opportunity to win one. The first goal is get back in the dance and make a name for yourself, and then get back again. The more opportunities you give yourself, the better chances you have of getting that done.
Zach in Lubbock asked, you played for Tech in the late 80s. What made you decide to come back here?
Coach Hayes called. He called in the spring of 2007 and said, hey, would you have any interest in coming back and working at Tech? And it shocked me, and I said, yeah, I would have some interest. And he goes, well, I'd like to be the next head coach here, but I don't know how long I'll be here, and after you come. And I said, you know what, and we'll talk about it more. And so I waited till the end of the season and we talked some more, and I said, yeah, I'll come. So that's how it happened.
And the last one is from Derek in West Plains, Missouri. He asked, you're a Texas Tech billboard. What would your billboard say?
Tough things grow in West Texas. We don't get a lot of water, so it's not a place for the soft. It's a good place if you're a hard-nosed person, then we want you here.
Remember, you can submit your questions by visiting your favorite Texas Tech sports page on texastech.com and clicking on the link. Well, coming up next, the Red Raiders taking on the Aggies, a 3-game series. We'll check out the highlights a little later in the show. We'll check in with the 24th ranked Texas Tech softball team. More Red Raider Weekly coming up next.